we'll get to this. What is a refrigerator mother?
Oh, but do you want to talk about your thing first, though, before I talk about refrigerator mothers?
Well,
About
oh,
your adult regression thing?
oh yeah, I can touch on that. So adult
Yeah, touch on that,
regression
and then we'll.
is it's something newer. It's so as you get older, especially if you're coming into an adult um
Diagnosis.
autism a diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
you can go through it's called autistic regression, and it's basically, as you get older, you kind of lose, your brain isn't elastic as elastic as it used to be. Um, so you can go through what's known as autistic regression. So you lose some of your skills, not skills, but you don't have as many resources as you used to. So you kind of they call it regression, but you go through more burnout from masking. So they kind of tell you try not to mask as much, try to find who you truly are and
Can you?
wears that mask instead of having to feel the need to mask in social. And this is kind of why one of the reasons I'm trying my best to, I think a lot of other people are to normalize um autism acceptance, because we should be able to be ourselves in
Absolutely,
in
100%.
in public situations.
So, can you tell me
um
what is? Can I ask you, Jedi? And
yeah.
I know this is totally not that we scripted this because we totally didn't. I mean, we talked about what we were going to talk about, but what does masking look like for you? Can I ask you that? I'm so sorry. Like,
um
going off script.
it's hard to describe. I mean, for me, the the laughter is masking, but it's not, because
No, I get.
I enjoy that. I truly do, because it makes me happy to be like that. I would say it's hard to explain. It's hard to define. Masking in public is more be,
Trying to fit in.
being quiet, being calm, trying not to laugh, and trying not to be kind of a wild person and being silly and
Yeah.
you know
What about trying not to fidget?
that yeah, that's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
masking for me. Trying not to fidget, trying not to rock, trying not to pace everywhere and bounce off the walls, because I'm a rocker, I'm a tapper, I'm a pacer.
Right. And I it bothers
Trying not to
me.
count ceiling tiles. That's one of
Okay.
my
Okay.
things. That's one of them. I know that's
No, I love it. I actually love it. So like my thing for me is um
I and
when
Hippie asked the
people can
question.
oh
Regression
go
is
ahead.
loss of yes. Regression is loss of yes. It can be that can be included, but it's more so. You can go into burnout. You can get more sensory issues. High fancy Nancy. You can get more sensory issues involved. So like lights or more stimming, more self-soothing. You get you know more sensitivity to sounds. Sarah Parker, welcome in.
Mhm.
Um, thank you for the heart meet. You get, you know, some of your tasks that you would normally not have trouble doing, you would be more averse to. You kind of lose interest in some things that you would normally have interest in. This is how I understood it when I read about it. So it's kind of it's thank you for that mustache partner.
I'm gonna do it with you. For
Yeehaw.
our community. Yeehaw. Oh, you're gonna get
Thank
it like
you,
super
Sarah.
epic. Woo! Yeehaw,
Yeehaw, partner.
cowboy. Yeehaw.
Thank you.
Woo! Love it. I love it. He
Thank
deserves
you
it.
for
Give
getting
him
the
all the
hat and
love, y'all.
mustache.
Give him all the love.
Becoming the title gifter, Sarah.
Oh, that's so
But it's
sweet.
one of those things that it's kind of hard to, it's different, it differs from person to person. And
Absolutely,
it
for sure.
for me leading into, I won't say lucky, but I was lucky to a degree going into my assessment that I was dealing with my already dealing with my TBI, which
Right.
looks a lot, I won't say a lot, but it looks similar to
Oh, absolutely.
managing the effects of, or not the effects, but the autistic regression. So
Or
I kind
symptoms.
of, right. So I kind of had the same toolkit to manage um, autistic
Which,
regression, or,
they can the toolkits can be similar, just as like the toolkits for ADHD and things can be similar. It's all coping strategies and things like that. So,
and yes, and yes, hippie. So that's kind of, autism can kind of progress as you age, because your, your brain ages, and that's the thought now, is your brain ages, so your brain kind of uses more resources, so your the autism kind of doesn't have as much your brain doesn't have as much resources to access as you
yeah,
age, right?
for sure,
um
for
so
sure.
that's what autistic regression is.
And so we were talking about refrigerator bundlers next. Did you want
Yes,
to talk about
yeah,
that next? Okay.
yes, I would like to.
So if you guys are just joining, or even if you're not, so my original passion was disability studies, about advocacy and where we came from in the past with working with people with disabilities and where we are now. So one of the things that is most intriguing to me is, did you guys know about refrigerator mothers? So refrigerator mothers back in the day, when someone was diagnosed with quote unquote autism, they blamed it on the mother for her lack of compassion for the child, because the child then didn't show quote unquote any expression or compassion or love or empathy or sympathy, which is what Jedi brought up earlier, for anyone. So they blamed it on the mother for being a quote unquote refrigerator mother. So that
Right,
was debunked that it wasn't the mother's fault, because why not blame it on the mother
right,
for their child, who was could who could tell you a math equation, or tell you what era or whatever generation. I don't even know the words, because I'm not as smart as these amazing people who have autism, with tell you all of the different, things about dinosaurs and whales and animals and math and science
right,
and all of these things. Um, because they're like, well, he's smart, or he or she is smart. They can do this. So obviously it's the mom's fault, because they didn't show love and compassion. So that's why, quote unquote, this child isn't showing love and compassion.
right.
So mothers were called refrigerator mothers, and that was debunked. There's no connection between that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's sad.
yeah,
It's sad that it was a,
yeah.
that's how the state of things were at any
And
point.
they went straight for the moms too.
Yeah, not the dads who, could have been, aside from the the facts, and I'll ask that too,
Mhm.
because I've actually had people tell me that, oh well, if if it's if you get tested, it's not genetic, and I've read books that say otherwise. So is autism genetic, or are there non-genetic forms? Do you know?
So I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a medical expert, but I will tell you from my personal experience and from what I have read, that they are linking a genetic component to it. So
Okay.
I do have, for instance, one of my favorite kiddos. Not that we have favorites as teachers; we love all our kids the same, obviously. Um,
Right.
but one of my students who has has autism who is going to be graduating high school this year. I'm so excited for, absolutely love him. Um, and I remember I would take my students swimming. I did a lot of off-site therapy, a lot of off-site things. So every other week, I would take my students who have autism or who have, yeah, they have autism, swimming. We would do water therapy. And then every other week, we would do equine therapy. That was a program that I started. And I remember swimming in the pool with this student's mom. And I was like, you make the cutest babies. I absolutely love this student. And she was like, well, we're going to have another one. And I was like, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Like, they're going to
Yeah.
be amazing, whatnot. She has autism and she is now one of my students. So I mean, that could be, it could be a medical phenomenon. Um, However, studies have proven that typically it is a genetic component. However, again,
Right.
I am not a medical professional. I am
Right.
just an educator.
and
So,
and that's from what I've read. The there are genetic links, but there's certain scenarios where it's also there are cases that it's not necessarily
correct.
100%. That's the facts. Well, I mean, yes,
And
I think you get what I'm saying.
yeah, and it
No,
could
yeah,
also be that what I like to bring up is only like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Think of how we have progressed with our medical diagnosis
right,
and just our education in general. Whereas, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, which I'm 44,
yeah,
I think that's young, okay? But like 44 years ago, a lot of people with autism would have been classified as mentally retarded. And I hate to say that word. I'm just saying it because that was the word, y'all. That
yeah,
was the word. We don't say that
yeah.
now.
Don't cancel us.
No. Ah, no, don't do it.